yeah, so I know the fabric looks like slightly old, so I didn't know if you could hear me because of the fan, but that was where I have a proper mirror that I can actually like stand in front of. The other mirror doesn't show, like it's because it's leaned against the wall because we're not allowed to hang anything up, which is a little bit ridiculous. But I know it had this. No, I didn't know it had this, but I could fix it. I feel like it's really good for the fact that I wanted this. I've seen it. I don't know if it was the exact same one, but I remember this was leather. I remember these were like had like horn buttons. These kind of, and the hood was cut in the same way that it would kind of go like this, as opposed to the seam being here in the middle. It was kind of cool like that. And you know, you can even do this. You can even like make it kind of shorter, but then it looks funny and still. With me, with like, I always have like a ponytail, so I think. But I thought back in the day when we were kids, we didn't think what we looked like. We thought if it was practical. Yeah, I mean, it is really kind of big. I was like overly excited. That's the one thing, because the lesson was if something doesn't fit, but then like tailor, make use of your tailor. But that's what I mean by working out. Would you have expected the very exact same jacket? I don't know if it's the exact same, but it looked like the exact same. To be out there, the costume probably new, I don't know, but on that website already almost £300. So, what was it new, you know? And the other jackets like 700 to be like ready there. And I never go to that charity shop before the day when I saw it first. Tuesday, coincidentally. Well, so 6 days ago, and the lady held it for me. Would you just expect that to just be readily happen to be lying there? And I thought, let me try this on. And then I was like, oh my god, it's expensive. Then I was like, well, it's really wool. But then I looked at it like, oh my god, is that the same one? And I looked them up. I was like, yeah, I'm definitely getting it now after seeing what they cost new. I like, yeah, not because of that, but I only had wanted it. What would be the chance to ever find it? And I decided, I'd begun to decide, okay, I want to buy one jacket that can just, a new winter jacket that can actually just be my go-to jacket. Now the only thing that stands in the way is this is slightly big. Huh. I want it to fit nicely. Apparently, it's difficult to like do the shoulders. So I don't know why tailors would say, you know, we're not going to do it because it's difficult. Because difficult and can't do are two different things. And that's one of the things which this one person that I wanted to have told you about. When they're going to go there, it will be easy, like over in some countries, it will be way more affordable. And I don't want to like go back on my stance. I also want to live within my means, and I don't have any other option. Like I don't have any other means to a tailor because it's like if I save up for it, and like I read somewhere that even the ones who do the shoulders be like 30-40 bucks alone, and then there'll be other things need to be done. Like even making it shorter, like making it fit here and stuff. So altogether, if that comes to an amount where you might have thought, well, I might have as well bought a new jacket from that amount, then it doesn't make as much sense. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to go on it, but also, I'm going to talk to you later about it. But, and the person said it would be like 10 bucks, the whole thing. seen these, but maybe that's why they let it go. Well, but I would never. Can you really a dream jacket? And I dreamt of it like it's like Christ knew God knew that. Well, of course they did, but I remember drifting. Would you expect the almost exact same jacket, possibly the exact same jacket, to be readily available to you that you could have never? That would have been several $100, and you could have never had. And all of a sudden, it's like right here. I wanted to show you a photo, but then because I had that open in my browser tab for the longest of time, eventually went through all the tabs and closed everything I didn't need, and now I can't find it anymore. And I didn't like the colour at first, but the more I thought about it, the more I kind of fell in love with it. Well, not really in love, but like I thought, because the thing is about materials like these, as said, I don't like the cruelty, but what I like is durability, and mostly it speaks for quality, and I like that. Oh wow, I used to think it meant that I in reality wanted loyalty and tried to get it through items that would stick with me for a really long time. But I'm realizing maybe I'm like the right thing is quality and investments like these go in line with these teachings that why have we become so wasteful as like a world? I was going to say society, but also world in a way. Why? What are we gonna get out of? Because everything's a fast fashion, Verschleißen. What are we gonna left with? A whole pile of, I don't even want to call it rubbish anymore, but like a pile of useless things we won't know what to do with anymore. Like, what are you gonna do? Just like move to Mars or something? Oh, we can't use the world anymore. We're gonna use the next planet. I'm joking, but what are you gonna do? Like, the right thing to like quality, and others out there I'd rather reuse it. I don't know, something. Maybe he has to die for cut their horns off. I mean, it's a journey. For some reason, I like the durability of something like that. Maybe it's because like it was a real quality. I'm gonna get the scarf because I didn't really understand, but something about the button spoke to me. So pretty, and I wasn't sure if to get it because I really don't need more scarves, but it reminded me of my mom, and she liked buttons, and she liked hand sewing things, and it could have been something she might have made, and also the colour of the buttons too, but also buttons, just remember like buttons was like what, talking of seashells, and like these are kind of things that people might have, the material that might have been seashells or something that people would find in like wood, natural material, like if you imagine you lived at the sea and something, people that like I can speak, materials that people had available to them, and they actually made these by hand, and think it's kind of like maybe it was kind of about it being kind of different, like it was, I can't speak, different from like mass production and everything cheap. You can have like plastic and whatever, but and ultimately you're just kind of using the earth, and it's like abusing or like how to say, taking advantage of it, depleting. And what are we gonna have left with? What do we win? What are we gonna have? What do you get out of this? So maybe that's what the buttons meant to tell us. It's kind of nice to imagine like a simple lifestyle. This is what I always like. If I ever liked something about historic lifestyles, it was that. The simplicity. But then I always thought, of course I don't know because I didn't live then, what it really was like without a washing machine or this and that. Definitely you might have a lot of work to do, but you would have had still a simple lifestyle, or simpler than today. I don't know how to well, maybe when I show you the scarf I will talk about it more, maybe. Hopefully I'll remember it. But there's something to that, having, I mean, I don't like as being like intra-vegan and this, like getting seashells out of the sea and like whatever, like, cracking them open and killing them, but like, the materials that were available to you, and somebody knew a craft, they knew how to do this, they made buttons, and they would make them, and they would bring them to the people and sell them, and then like, or maybe swap them even, and it was kind of, there's a beauty in simplicity. It was kind of like, people would have to put effort in so they would actually know and kind of treasure or appreciate the work it took to even make a button. So making a jacket like this, you wouldn't throw it out. Like, if we had to make them ourselves, so, looking at some particular people, and it's not just Africa, but, what we call a third world, there is one world, period. I may not talk about that again with the scarf, but I wasn't gonna, but like, yeah. Oh, she gave it to me for less because it was, she changed it. There's a whole story behind that. Oh, I didn't think I mentioned it earlier, so yeah. So yeah, and then this was a mod that I was more comfortable spinning than not, and it actually ended up, because that's why I didn't want to tell you which store it was, because then I don't want everyone to get in trouble, because I don't know, sometimes one manager does one thing and another manager does something differently, but and it was because of that she said it, but then I still couldn't do it, and then I asked, and like she kept it for me, then she was like, she kept it for me for really long because she wanted to be here for me to like buy it, and then she said come back on Sunday, so I was like, oh cool, and it's what I mean about working out, things working out, like meeting the right people, and I just like kind of, and when I left she did say to me come back, it's like, I made a friend, even though we don't know each other, anything about each other, aside from the fact I know her name and I know she likes oceans, but it's like a beautiful memory. Gem moments of life. I mean, I would have liked there should be maybe a zip, but it's cool and it's still gonna be warm, or I could put a zip in. So I don't know anything about tailoring, but yeah, I can see why. And you would have to like destroy this whole thing, which I really like this. It almost, I think it even speaks for that quality. So yeah, it's a little old. Also, I do understand the thought that maybe they're kind of, you would think that mostly people let things go because there is an energy that they don't vibe with anymore, but not always. They had to let go. I don't know. There's certainly a different energy, but like also I had to let go of so many things I really thought I really loved and I really liked, unless the energy was there before I knew it. Like, I didn't know, but sometimes you have to kick yourself to let go of something that gives you good vibes, because you have too many and you already have a similar one or something. People have done this, which used to be something I didn't used to understand, but I began to grasp. Yeah, then it's like one item captures the style, and then you have one, not 10. What's more important to me? Keeping everything or simplicity? Simplicity, more important to me. I know I hesitated there, but yeah. There's just be a weight off our shoulders. Yeah, and yeah, so I didn't, what I wanted to say, at first I wanted to ask her if she would still do it, and I used to not have the guts to say anything ever, but I said if I don't ask, it's not gonna happen, so I dared to ask, and at the end it did happen. And at first she was, because she mentioned 28, so I was like, and then she said if you'd come back earlier, because I went somewhere else first, then came back, but then I couldn't do it anymore because the money I'd spent some of it elsewhere. And then she kind of said no, but then she said maybe 30, and I was like, yeah, 30, and she thought it was 45, but it was 35. So that made 30 look a lot better. And at the end, and I was hoping, I wanted it for, and it would have been something where I feel like for something bought in a charity shop, it's maybe like you stretched yourself, as if like you a used jacket, but because of the brand and everything. And you never know, like with like, I mean, fakes weren't even on my mind, but I can definitely tell this is like real. It would definitely cost you more. The material is not fake. The material is not fake. Like, I don't know. It looks to me like I think it's real, but I'm not an expert, so yeah. Yeah, what was I gonna say? So like, it's like a amount I was more comfortable spending would have been, and so I was like really happy. And then at first I was like, oh no, she isn't gonna do it anymore. But then like, because this is already, I feel like I would have thought maybe 25. So it's already kind of stretched to me, which goes back to living within your means and everything. But I'm like so glad that like it's affordable, but it's still kind of, and it was so effortless, like perfect, and it wasn't being cheap. But what I was hoping for actually turned out to be true, and she did that, and she was so friendly to me. Like, thank you, yay. And I don't want to say the name because I don't know if I don't know, another manager has a different style, and then if they get in trouble, or I don't know. But yeah, so happy, and yeah, so it was something that's still kind of a lot to me, but like still kind of stretched, but still kind of comfortable spending it on for what it is, if that makes any sense. So yeah, and then okay, so she did say 30, so I was like, okay, well, even though 28 felt like that, like I just described, in 30 more, but for some reason, but like I feel like, and there's like $2, like I'm gonna do it. And I was gonna do this anyway, but I appreciated it already. I mean, she was doing 30 instead of 35. But then, like, today when I went there, she went back to this, and she did 50. So it's like, cause she told me 20, 30, 28. Like, when I asked her, I asked, if she could still do 28. And then she said, no, if you had come back earlier, I could have. I'm like, oh, I think, but it was because, another manager was there, and she wouldn't have let her do it. So you see what I mean? But like, I didn't think 28 was still gonna happen. So today I wanted to 28.50. It's like, oh, 50. That's kind of like funny because, like, I'm cool with 50p more. I'm so happy. I didn't expect it. And this would be something, if you need a jacket, I would have had to spend that anyway. Yes, it would have been new, but it wouldn't have never been this quality, and it wouldn't have been I don't know, dream jacket, a jacket I'd already wanted for, like I'd already dreamt of it, and I'm still like the very exact same jacket, even if it's not the exact, everything looks exactly the same. And I like got that, and I was like allowed to get that. And yeah, it was like right in front of me. Would you expect that in a charity shop? Would you expect the exact very same jacket you had dreamed of? I know they do visualization of like try and achieve it, but this was like, it was already here and effortless before I even knew why I was going in that shop. And exactly the right time where I needed one. I want to think about it looking old. I want to like love it more. And I wore it in this shop so warm, it's definitely gonna keep it warm. Reduce, reuse, recycle. The more I think about the fabric, it did look a little bit old. I think I was so excited that I kind of overlooked that, but it was the one I wanted. I would have never gotten it otherwise. Like I would never been able to get such kind of a jacket. Like, yay! And also, going back to moms, honoring your roots. like the whole thing about not being embarrassed about moms, because like back in the day I didn't mind so much. I wanted to stay warm, and this was the type of jacket we would, not the like brand or quality, but the type, like the kind of cut and like this kind of coat I would have worn. And then then came high school and you needed to look a certain way, so now I'm like back to that, and it will also remind me of my mom quite simply because of that. It's kind of honoring the roots that, yeah, wear it proudly, you know. But I've been talking long enough, I think. I might get into the habit of like, when I feel like something is enough, then maybe it's been enough, like kind of like, how do I kind of get this into a format where it doesn't take over my life, but still gets all the goodies out, like in a good way, yes, but not in like in a good way where there's a good balance and having a good system in place and all that. Yay! Oh, there's a lot of thread out here. But I said that the thing for myself that I wasn't gonna let anyone say, like, take advantage. Like, I didn't want to have anything to do with the people involved in that. You know what I mean? I'm talking about the tailoring. So now, I haven't even made the video where I said this, but I want to have made it, and I've taken my notes for that. Also, I like the inside and the check. I'm thinking, because on the overexcitement, I think, on the day made me overlook a certain other person. Might like look at it as, okay, you know, it looks old. Yeah, of course, but I could never afford the new one. Like, not to tell myself that, but kind of like, I mean, being realistic is not so cool. And I just figured today I'm gonna go there, and I never even go in there. This is what I liked about it, that there was leather. Because of the durability, it's not like, because it's kind of, and it doesn't justify the cruelty. These are like two different things. But like, if something is made to last, and these kind of, unfortunately, these kind of materials, so in many cases, these are materials that definitely like last you. That's the pity. So I'd like that I would love a vegan option that does the same thing, but I never come across one. I just thought if people kind of don't know how to put them together with eating vegan, and then, but that's the durability. It's being made to last, and the quality that I like about it. And I think that's making a point that's bigger than what material it actually was. But if we weren't so wasteful, it wouldn't really even need to happen. We wouldn't even need new and killing more animals. We would continue to wear something that we had. So this could be one of those coats. But less people go out vintage shopping. Like, they would love to have a find like this, and that's a style and it's in. I don't know. It just looked a little bit funny when it's so big. When it has this, which is like, you can pop this in front of you. I'm not sure. I think it goes this way. It's actually on the wrong way, I think. Oh man, it's not coming off. How should I take this off? You can like put it, well, let me just, but it needs to be, I think it needs to be the other way, like not this way, but kind of having this at the bottom, but it kind of prevents wind, well, it doesn't really prevent the wind from getting in actually, but it kind of like keeps your throat warm a little bit more. Okay, I used to give my new items names back in the day, sometimes. Really funny. How about Frodo? Did I say it was funny? But yeah. It's funny, it's like, because oversized is in, but being big, it doesn't really work for me. It's gonna look even bigger. But not a look I wanted to achieve. But, you know, warmth-wise, this will definitely keep me warm. And it's gonna get a good wash, and then I will need to decide on the tailoring. Well, I might kind of the tailoring will be an investment. It would still be cheaper than if I had to buy it new, but for me it would have then been already so expensive. I might have gotten a really good one new, if that makes sense. If like I considered for a while there, could I do this myself? And then I have to like take all of these off and everything. I like that they're on there. Because then you have to like, I don't know, if I put anything, because I have a lot of experienced tailor, if I put anything back together wrong, it would be, what if it turns out to be a disaster? It might look funny. It might look funnier than it already does, lol. Let's see, oh, and I think you would have to even shorten this then, because if you want to take the shoulder in, well, you could take it until here, I suppose. But if you took the shoulder in, you might have to take this into, and knowing me, it might be a lot of work, and I might kind of think, hey, you know, when I don't know, I don't want it to be one of the projects that never get done.